It all began after the accident. One moment I was riding my bike to work, and the next, a truck came out of nowhere. I woke up in the hospital with my legs completely numb. The doctors told me I was paralyzed from the waist down. My world shattered in that instant. But through the haze of pain and fear, I remember my wife, Emily, holding my hand and promising, "We'll get through this together." I believed her. The first few weeks at home were the hardest. I couldn't do much for myself, and I hated being a burden. Emily seemed patient, caring, and attentive. She cooked my meals, helped me dress, and even tried to make me laugh when the nights got too heavy. I thought she was my rock, the only reason I was still sane. Our neighbor Carl was the kind of man nobody liked, loud, arrogant, and always making crude jokes. Before the accident, I kept my distance from him. But after I was injured, he started hanging around more often. Emily told me he was just trying to help, but I could see the way he looked at her sometimes. It made me uneasy, though I never voiced my suspicion. Months passed, and I began noticing changes in Emily. She became distant. She stopped talking to me about her day and often went out without saying where she was going. Whenever I asked, she would sigh and say she needed a break from the stress. I understood she was under pressure, but something inside me started to ache with doubt. One rainy afternoon, I woke up from a nap and realized Emily wasn't home. Her phone was on the kitchen counter, buzzing with messages. Normally, I respected her privacy, but my gut told me something was wrong. I wheeled myself over and saw a notification from Carl. The message read, "I can't wait to see you tonight." My heart sank. That night, Emily came home late. Her hair was messy, and she avoided my eyes. I asked her where she'd been, and she snapped, "I don't need to report my every move to you." The sharpness in her tone cut me deeper than any knife. I didn't push it further, but my mind was already spiraling. The next day, while she was in the shower, I checked her phone again. There were dozens of messages between her and Carl, flirtatious, suggestive, and intimate. They talked about nights together, things they'd done, and even plans for the future. I felt like I couldn't breathe. This wasn't just cheating, it was betrayal at the deepest level. When she stepped out of the bathroom, I confronted her. My voice shook as I asked, "Are you sleeping with him?" She froze, then looked me straight in the eye and said, "Yes." No excuses, no apologies. Just a cold, heartless truth. I asked why, and her answer broke me. She said, "You're not the man I married anymore. I need someone who can make me feel alive." I cried that night in silence. Not because I was alone, I'd been feeling that way for months, but because the one person I trusted most had chosen the one person I despised. And she chose him while I was at my weakest, my most vulnerable. The days that followed were a blur. Emily moved in with Carl. I heard them laughing outside sometimes, their voices cutting through my walls like daggers. I stopped answering calls, stopped opening the curtains. I felt like my life had ended twice, once in the accident, and once when she walked out. But something in me refused to die completely. My sister, Claire, visited one afternoon and reminded me that I still had worth, that I could rebuild. She helped me contact a lawyer. I filed for divorce and, with the help of my family, began the process of regaining control over my life. I started physical therapy again, not because I believed I'd walk soon, but because I needed to fight for myself. Each session was painful, but every drop of sweat felt like reclaiming a piece of the man I used to be. Months later, I heard Carl had left Emily for another woman. I didn't feel satisfaction, just emptiness. She had destroyed everything we had for a man who didn't even value her. That was her choice, and it was her loss. Now, I live alone but surrounded by people who truly care for me. My body may not be what it once was, but my spirit is stronger. I learned that betrayal doesn't define you, your response to it does. Emily broke my heart, but she didn't break me completely. And that's something she'll never be able to take away.